When Irma and I arrived back in Shiprock, New Mexico, we found that the old women's shelter had been demolished and the new one was rising painfully slowly. We went to the temporary Shiprock home for women and children, and there we found a welcoming staff. They were eager to get us settled and started working. We moved into the home of the director of the shelter, Gloria Champion, where we lived for the entire month of June. Each morning, we drove the 12 miles to Shiprock, passing several fascinating rock formations, fields of cattle and horses, the hogback, and the reservation. On that first Monday, I began teaching the juniper titmouse, which is a small local bird. We had 3 foster grandmothers, Edna, Clara, Gina, and several young clients, Laurencita, Sharon, and Louise. Irma busily cut out pieces and patterns and packaged them while I directed the construction of pale primroses and kingfishers. At lunchtime, we journeyed across town to the senior center and joined the lunch line. Afterwards, we began teaching titmice, primroses, and kingfishers to a few friends from 1998, Helen, Rose, Sarah, Elsie, and Grace. Several other ladies from the past came by, but they could no longer sew because of the loss of their eyesight. We met several new participants: Ruth, Stella, Eunice, Mary, Virginia, Dorothy, Rosemary, and Irene. As the week progressed, the work continued, and we showed our video from 1998. Everyone chuckled and laughed to see how much younger we had all been 7 years ago. The mornings continued at the home. We learned the names of some of the children, Stacy, Carly, and Quincy. Clara talked about the foster grandparent program.
We try to teach the kids Navajo, the Navajo tradition, and we want the kids to learn their language and their clans. The clan is very important to the Navajos. Me, I'm a member of the Salt clan. Well, I joined the foster grandparents after my husband died in 1993. I had nowhere to go, nobody to go. I was always depressed and sad. But I joined the program and it helped me along. We get paid from the tribe and the government.
And after lunch, we continued with the seniors, learning names and working on the kingfishers. During the first weekend, Irma and I explored the Zuni Pueblo, spending several hours with the artist whose family was painting the cachinas along the inside walls of the church. We then went on to Red Rock State Park, walking the lovely winding path to the church rock. On Sunday, we stopped in Window Rock, the capital of the Navajo Nation, and paid tribute to the famed Navajo code talker from World War II. Irma found several pale primroses like the ones we are making. And later at the senior center, some of the men told us that they had been code talkers during the war. Back at work on Monday, Edna, Clara, and Elsie began a discussion about their experiences in boarding school as children.
Put the gun right here on our nose and stand at the blackboard. I was 5 years old when I went to the boarding school. They wouldn't let us talk our language. We were punished for it.
I never forgot my Navajo all the way through. I always, had it in me. We didn't see our family, our relatives for 9 months. I think I had the best training there. I wouldn't have had at home.
Elsie brought in her Eagle and Roadrunner from 1998 and recounted the ones she had made and sold.
The Roadrunner?
Uh-huh.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh,
I have one sold to the school. It's called Eagle. The name is Eagles Elementary.
while waiting to say goodbye to Laurencita, I played with the children in the family room at the home. It is in the central area, surrounded by the rooms of the clients where the children can watch TV or play. Laurencita, who was expecting a baby, did not want the animal spirits from her work to influence the baby. So we taught her to make a sunflower. She was very proud of the progress she had made, and I wished her good luck with the new baby. During the second weekend, Irma and I journeyed across the northern route of New Mexico to Taos to visit the Taos Pueblo. From the corral, the old cemetery with the original church, to the bread ovens in the Pueblo, we strolled on a beautiful Saturday morning. The new church is centrally located in the Pueblo, with the housing structures and drying racks on both sides of the river flowing down from the mountains. We particularly loved the river, which had required a lot of sandbags in the spring to control the runoff from the heavy rains. The church and the Pueblo were saved from the flooding. I loved the bread ovens and the detail work on the housing units. On the way home, we stopped in Abiquiu, the adopted home of Georgia O'Keeffe, and looked at her beloved mountains. On Monday, we began several ladies on the black-tailed jackrabbit, while others continued working on their kingfishers. For show and tell, Clara showed her beaded headbands. Edna brought in a book published in 1939 featuring pictures of her family.
This lady right here was my mother. This one. This is when I was about 2 years old.
Clara brought her drum, which she uses for the squaw dances, and sang a song sung by the Navajos when they were allowed by the U.S. government in 1868 to return to their beloved homeland after many long years' imprisonment at Bosque Redondo. Sharon brought in the glass beaded earrings which she makes and sells, and I ordered a pair. Meanwhile, the birds and flowers were proliferating at the home and the senior center. I finished up on the first of the pronghorn antelopes, and Irma kept on cutting patterns and pieces for everyone. On one Friday, the senior center was closed, so Mary arranged for us to meet in the dining room of the Shiprock Tribal Council building, with its colony of prairie dogs outside. We talked of making them on our next visit. On Saturday, Irma and I visited the Shiprock Flea Market, which is held most weekends throughout the year. We then went on to Totalina, where there is no fencing along the road, and the sheep wander leisurely, nibbling on the various grasses. We stopped at the Two Gray Hills trading post, which is still active since its beginning in the 1880s, and then continued on the gravel road to Totalina, where the air was crisp and clear and the land beautiful. The trading post is also a museum, with artifacts from the past, as well as current goods for local sales, and a major collection of Navajo rugs spanning the centuries. I fell in love with one large rug depicting Mother Earth and Father Sky. Most are now valued in the thousands of dollars, and outside the thistles and the morning glories were lovely. On Sunday night, Irma and I helped Gloria and Ray Begay prepare a culinary delight, while Gloria's dog Bobo waited eagerly for the meal to be finished. Ray steamed a duck, Gloria and Irma did vegetables, and I cut up a watermelon. Ray is the state congressman representing the Navajo Nation and the Four Corners of New Mexico, as well as an accomplished musician. Then it was Monday of our last week, with everyone trying to finish up their projects. Eunice, Mary, Ruth, Sarah, and Virginia. Rabbits were being completed at the home as Gloria and the staff prepared a goodbye lunch for us. In honor of Irma's being a vegetarian, they prepared a huge salad bar with a big cake for dessert. They presented each of us with a kachina, which was made by one of the young women at the shelter.
And then this one here is a sun face, and he's just the most popular one that everybody wants.
At the Senior Center, we began show and tell with Eunice and her beadwork. Then Virginia sang in Navajo. Mary brought in the clothing she has been working on. Ruth talked of her herbal medicines and sang us a weaving song. Dorothy showed her quilting squares. Helen displayed her beadwork.
Ooh, those are pretty.
Irene her moccasins for the car mirror. And Janet her wind spinner.
Very good.
And Sarah displayed her wallet. Ruth brought in a large collection of the jewelry which she has made. Back at the home, Elsie brought in her rugs, dresses, the Code Talker medal from her husband, and then demonstrated carding and spinning for us. Sarah, Elsie, and Mary joined us at the home in order to finish their antelopes. Then came the inevitable last day. The seniors gathered their work and lined up in front of the entrance of the Senior Center to show what they had done. Irma and I videoed a few memorable spots: the San Juan River, the meat distributor, and the Shiprock. At the home, rabbits and antelopes were being finished. Mary finished her antelope first, and then Sarah. I gathered those present for the group picture. Several ladies had come and gone during our month-long sojourn, but the foster grandmothers had persevered. Irma and I distributed the patterns, instructions, and leftover materials. Then, hugging everyone goodbye, we headed to Albuquerque and home to North Carolina.